Wow, the past 24 hours, heart-wrenching.
They really have been, and we've all been hearing from our friends, and I know everybody's been hearing from loved ones. Just shock. I got a note this morning from a friend in Mississippi. His pastor wrote the congregation yesterday and said, "As I write these words, the sun is rising on May 25th, 2022. Another day of mourning in America after another mass shooting at another elementary school. As we pray yet again for those whose lives have been torn asunder by a troubled soul wielding a deadly weapon, it seems important and necessary to me to say as a Christian pastor, that we try to find reasonable ways to reduce gun violence, and that is not political, it is moral. The church needs to have a moral compass which can tell the difference between that which is politically partisan and that which is moral. Otherwise, our fear of being political may, at times, make us fall silent concerning matters which we should not be silent. As Martin Luther King Jr. once wisely said, the day we fall silent about the things that matter is the day our life begins to end." And that's Chuck Poole, Baptist preacher from Jackson, Mississippi. And the preacher is right, of course. Standing by and doing nothing after little children are slaughtered in classrooms with weapons of war that are designed to be the most effective means of reducing flesh to a bloody mush, that is not a political failing. That is a moral failing. We need to protect little children in schoolyards from assassination. We need to protect grandmothers shopping for their children and their family in grocery stores from having a bullet tear through their brain. We have an urgent need to protect Christians in their churches, Jews in their synagogues, Muslims in their mosques, and to protect country music fans singing along to their favorite songs from being murdered in a bloody rampage by, again, weapons of war. Saving the lives of these Americans, that's not a political necessity. That is a moral necessity. And doing nothing to stop this carnage is a sin. Let me say it again. Doing nothing to stop this ongoing carnage is a sin. And telling others to shut their mouths while the slaughter continues, to not talk about it. You can't talk about it. Do not talk about it. That would be political. Well, that's evil. And that evil cannot be allowed to prevail in press conferences in Texas, in state houses across the South, and it cannot be allowed to fester any longer in the United States Senate. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. We've heard that our whole lives. Well, it's time for senators to do something, to pass universal background checks, to take at least a small step, just the first step in a 1,000-mile journey, to start, to begin stopping the slaughter of babies and putting the protection of life over the twisted, fevered dreams of a paranoid minority that is dominating our political process, dominating our schools, dominating our churches, dominating our grocery stores, dominating our lives. It's time once again to make sure that our kids can walk into their classrooms to learn and to be able to live to tell their parents about it. And Willie, I looked at the press conference yesterday where they were shouting at Beto O'Rourke for asking a question about guns after they tried to avoid it. This isn't about Beto. Let me say, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not focused on who's going to win a political race this fall. We're all focused on saving kids, saving grandparents. But to say, don't talk about it, and then to write that it was classless? Are we really there? It was classless? to bring up the fact that children, that babies were slaughtered by guns, make no mistake of it, guns that were specifically designed to kill enemy combatants in war. Guns that were more deadly than the guns we gave our soldiers and Marines in Vietnam. It's insane.
Never talked about it.
Beto O'Rourke was called sick for making this a political issue. That was what was yelled from the stage down to him when he went up and confronted Governor Abbott of Texas at that news conference yesterday. But as you said very well there, it's not a political issue. It's not a political issue to Angel Garza, who was a first responder we're going to hear from in a moment, who rushed in to help kids, saw a bloody young girl who was screaming, crying, said, "They shot my friend, they shot my friend, she's not moving. Who's your friend?" The little girl said her name's Amory. It was his daughter. Amory's his daughter. That's how he learned that his daughter was dead. So we're going to show you some sound, and the people on that stage and people across the country have to answer to that father, not to us, not to politicians. Right. They have to answer to that father why Amory, who we just showed there, just named to the honor roll, just turned 10 years old, why she's dead. That's not a political issue. That's a dad who lost his daughter. That's a moral issue, as you said, Joe.